have our lovely Jason, played by Noskavian. To edit some things and get a note real quick. Pardon, that was me. All right. It has been a while since we've been back. When we left off, our Shadowrunners had taken a job to search for a vampire virus infected individual in the LA sewer system. In the search for their quarry, they encountered a possible spirit, magical traps, and eventually the entrance to an above ground section of the Deep Lacuna, a magical set of tunnels that stretch across the entire western seaboard. As our group has arrived at this odd entrance that appeared more like the exit to a utility tunnel, the concrete is sheared, almost uncomfortably blended into a deep blue-black rock that is a more natural appearance. At least, kind of natural. The hallways stretch out towards the right and left, the right very quickly coming to a very sudden drop off into water. Deep, dark pool that's impossible to tell its actual depth. Down the left hallway, it's much longer, just sort of going into the darkness, every so often lit by a lamp that seems to be the leftovers from the old utility tunnel. Some of them half in the stone. It's unsure how they're still working, given that they seem to almost be bifurcated in some cases. Not wanting to move too quickly, the party does send one of Jason's drones into the tunnels. Unfortunately, as it enters through the front door, it touches an exposed electrical wiring that had fallen from the utility tunnel ceiling. Electrocuting itself and falling to the ground, Jason quickly runs over, holds up his poor innocent drone, and runs it down the stairs to a more open area, telling his companions to head off without him, alongside another of his drones set to autopilot. As we start, our 3 party members and their drone friend now stand at the entrance to the Deep Lacuna, sometimes considered one of the most dangerous things underneath LA.
Okay, so, I would like to start off immediately with a role about. I don't know exactly which one I would use, probably locally rumors, but I'd like to find out all the information I can about the Deep Lacuna.
That would
If I
be
may.
rumors. Yes, of course, that would be
Okay.
rumors.
Wonderful. It gives me nothing.
The most you would get from the forums are the mundane, everyday knowledge of Deep Lacuna. It is not unknown. People know of it. It's been around for years, ever since the beginning of the big ones, as they're called, which were the waves of flood that occurred.
Mm-hmm.
It's massive, and at least it's always called submerged caverns. So it is odd that this
Mm-hmm.
section appears to be above ground, though you do notice that the flooring in this tunnel is very moist.
Mm. Okay. Mm. Okay, I think. Goodness. Okay, I think I don't. I'm gonna make sure I have my troll eyes on, so I can see in darkness. And I think I touch a little bit of the sort of the moist walls, and I will look to Mojave and to T, and say, shall we explore further here? Do you think that our quarry is gone this way?
It seems just as likely as not.
Mojave sort of gives a breezy shrug.
I don't think there
Right.
were a lot of branching paths back the way we came.
That is fair. Okay, so Morningstar is going to press forward, walking slowly and carefully, but I'm going to be looking for any spots of blood or things that may have been left behind by the person we are looking for.
It is difficult to tell if, like, visually speaking, if you can find any blood. Thermographically, there do seem to be places of warmth, oddly, on walls. Mojave, you are in astral perception right now?
Yep.
The entire tunnel looks like it's made of chrome or silver. It is shimmering.
He's just grinning at the walls, just like taking in the sights that only he can see.
You also notice, as the shimmer moves, it moves in waves down the tunnel in a pattern not dissimilar to a heartbeat.
Sort of touches the wall. Just poking it.
You can feel there's like this electricity in the wall for you specifically.
Yeah, I think he's just sort of like as he's walking along, he's trailing his fingers along the surface of the wall. Just feeling the texture, feeling the pulse.
It is almost like a mixture of the texture of... It kind of feels like pumice. Very gritty, holy, almost... but slightly soft, almost sponge-like.
Like for a rock, yes. Soft for a rock.
Soft for a rock.
Not like actually soft.
I mean, you couldn't press your hand into it, but it feels like you feel some give, but it's odd. It's almost indescribable. It's not a material you have ever felt before.
If there is any give at all, I'm poking it harder. I'm seeing just how much give there is. If this wall can crumble, it is crumbling against my palm.
It does not crumble. You definitely feel a little bit of give, like trying to push on cold rubber.
Ew.
Sort of wipes his hand off on his shirt and then just keeps strolling along, trailing his fingers. Walls here are you. Poke it! Poke the wall!
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go and give a touch the wall. It feels funny.
Morningstar's hesitant at first, is like, I don't know if I want to do that. But will raise a hand and also touch the wall as they walk along. I imagine I feel the same texture.
You feel the same texture. The only thing you do not feel is you don't feel that electricity that Mojave felt.
Right.
You also don't see the shimmer.
Right.
But
okay.
It does have a strange, spongy quality to it.
This is... So, I feel that I have just, in terms of, like, book knowledge and whatnot, would it be safe to say that it is almost, similar to, like, coral? Coral is also sort of, in a way, spongy, but hard.
Porous.
And has those porousness. Is it a bit like that?
Yes.
Okay. This is very strange to have a tunnel of what feels like coral, like the reef. Do you know much about the reef?
No, I don't know. No, I don't know much about a reef. Was a reef?
Reef is, oh goodness, how best to describe it? It is like hard sponge, yes, deep beneath, well, not deep, but in the water, and little fish usually live within. You've never watched like a nature documentary or something like that may have
Shakes his head.
described this to you? Right, that's fair. You don't remember anything past 2 years ago. Understood. Right. So this
I was just
reminds me.
does it feels weirdly? Does it feel alive to you? It's vibing.
It does not
Okay.
feel alive to me. However, you have different abilities than I do, so perhaps this is something that you can only sense.
Yeah.
But it also makes sense because coral itself is alive.
Oh,
It
is
is
that?
Well, it is it is of the sea.
As a
It provides
living rock
habitat.
thing. Cool.
Yes, which makes sense with Deep Laguna stuff because it is sort of same.
I'm gonna have to take your word for that, but okay. I will take your word for it.
During this conversation, he did not stop to touch the wall. He's very focused on what could be a very sick individual. He has continued to move forward, not quickly, but he's got the thermographic eyes, and he's just sweeping for movement up ahead.
I will say,
To be fair, we're moving with you. We didn't stop.
Yeah.
We're moving.
Okay, perfect.
Fingers
Yeah,
trailing
yeah.
along the wall, still touching it, but like Mojave did not stop walking this entire time.
Yeah, we're walking the whole time.
and I will say, T, you're definitely hunched over a little bit. The utility tunnels down here had been shockingly pretty tall, but this deep lacuna, this tunnel, is much tighter and far more circular. So it's a little harder for you to stand up all the way.
Bones! That's what reminds me of. Bones. Reminds me of bones.
Bones.
Bones!
I like that even less than coral. Okay, I'm going to think coral, you think bones, and somewhere in the middle we meet.
Okay.
It definitely like wigs her out a little bit, to think of like, what if the Deep Laguna is just bones? Like the bones of some old, sea god or something. And she's like, ooh, I don't like it.
Mojave has not stopped, just trailing his fingers along the walls.
Yeah. But definitely following T, and I also have the thermographic on. And actually, I think what I'll do is anytime that I notice the little warm spots that you mentioned earlier, that are along the walls, do they go also onto the ceilings or just on the walls?
They're random enough that you do see one or two on the ceilings at the beginning of the tunnel. And I will just give, as you go down the tunnel, they're more frequent, and you can see they're more of a pattern, and they look like something walking or moving, and they do end up on the ceiling at a few different points. As if whatever this just is up and down the walls.
Yeah, I'll point that out to T, which I'm assuming that similarly he can see them, and I'll just point them out, and that they start to become a pattern as we walk along, deeper into the tunnels.
Eventually, probably about 100 meters into this tunnel, you reach a point where there is only one more lamp left that's visible of the utility tunnel, and then it continues on in darkness.
Okay.
You all have flashlights. The drone has a light on it. And with the light of the drone piercing into the darkness, you can see that the tunnel eventually makes a very sharp right turn. And you can't see past that turn without moving towards it. And sitting in the corner, sort of upright, leaned on the ground, is a very mangled humanoid form. If this was a person, it is very red, does not appear to have arms. Upon closer inspection, if you would like to get closer.
Well, I do. have a
My
question
medical
before I get
opinion,
closer.
they don't look like they're doing too good.
No, I don't think they are. Just real quick, because I know you said that the walls and stuff are like moist. Is there any water at the on the floor? Is built up maybe like an inch or two as we're moving through?
Ever so often, the none of the walls here are flat, and the floor is not flat. Where there are dips, some water seems to have collected in maybe pools that are like an inch deep at the max.
Okay. Just making sure. Okay. Right. I think we should get closer, but Mojave, maybe you should investigate. This is, you have medical knowledge.
Already strolling up, keeping, a little bit of a distance at first, just paranoia's sake. Like, good 2-3 feet back, but she's looking around, inspecting.
Would you like to roll me first aid?
Yes, I can do that.
Well, once closer inspection, you can see that this individual, does not have arms. His arms have been removed completely, at the shoulder joint.
Oh.
The legs are bent at odd angles. It's unclear if he simply fell ragdoll style while bleeding out, or if he was thrown into this position, but this is not a natural sitting up position. He should not really be here.
And would you say the arms... is it a ragged break as though it has been torn?
Give me 2 seconds to go fix something.
We've got to fix some cameras.
It is definitely a jagged break, as...
So like it's been ripped off for sure.
Yeah, no, my medical opinion, this fella ain't doing too great. Is he don't got arms no more.
Oh, okay. That's fucking disgusting. Cool. Oh, hello.
I'll give that.
Right. No, you're fine. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to, because Mojave has all the medical knowledge. I mean, I have some, but Mojave has all the medical knowledge. I will look around the body for any signs of like scratches or anything that may have been like show signs of impact near the body, and if there is like a trail of blood or anything like that moving away from the body.
Yes, there is, now that I have said everything. I gotta finish the statement. The, body itself, yes, it is a jagged cut. Yes, the arms have been removed. The most important thing to note about the body is it is covered head to toe, soaked to the bone in blood.
Oof.
Yeah, he's not doing so good. The blood's supposed to be on the inside of the body.
Yeah.
And with a very, bright and overly happy for the situation entrance, Jason comes running up behind everybody.
Yo, guys, I got my drone fixed. Like, you know how they always say it's the last thing you check? Somehow I turned it off. It just...
I think, like, just from the sound of something running up on us, right, before Jason even speaks, Morningstar's already, like, got a gun pointed at him. And then he's like,
Here,
oh,
Jay. Good to see you guys. Blah, blah.
you
Forgot how to
scared the
talk.
shit out of me. What the fuck?
Whoa, Scales,
No.
watch that gun.
Has no one ever told you not to run up on people without them knowing you are coming? Jesus Christ. And then she, like, puts the gun away. And she's like, okay, well, glad you're here. A victim, as you can see.
Jeez, what did you guys do?
Oh, this wasn't us.
It wasn't us. It wasn't us.
Jason looks
It
at
was
you.
like that when we found him, I swear.
No, I think he would be more have punch marks than ripped to pieces marks. Unless, I don't know, are you into ripping people apart, T?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I swear he was like that when we found him.
I've learned something new.
You know, it doesn't surprise me.
I
What?
shouldn't.
Oh, he points
Oh.
at me. Just straight face.
Oh.
Doesn't surprise me.
Right. It should not have surprised me either, but I don't know, I just figured more Smash was your type rather than tear apart, you know?
I mean,
But
a rip is kind of just a smash from the other direction. Like, look at the joints there. That was not a neat tear right there. It was messy.
It seems strange to me that this vampire-like creature would choose to rip in this fashion, right? I mean, you would think that it would just be far easier to bite and maybe claw, but to rip apart seems... I don't know, it seems like a lot more.
Maybe like these vampires don't get teeth or nothing. Maybe he has to like take chunks out and juice it or something.
Or maybe he wasn't fighting defeat. I don't know.
That is true. Frenzy did tell you, Lot, that the worse they get with the disease, that the more animalistic they become. So, right. And so yeah, I'm gonna like look sort of away from the body, but I'm trying to see if there's like a trail of blood in a particular direction.
You know,
that we
also,
could
are there
follow.
any signs of this guy's arms?
There are no signs of this man's arms ever. I will give. There is a very clear spatter pattern behind this man. And not the kind where. This doesn't look like where his arms were torn off. This looks like something. Like he was already covered in blood. And they slammed him against the wall, spattering everything with blood.
Yeah, you know what? I think it looks to me, people usually have a bit more blood in them than this.
Right. I think in this moment, Morningstar, in this almost like faraway voice, says the actual number for how much blood is in a humanoid body. Um, and then like shakes herself and realizes what she did and is like, right. So we should probably go down hallway. Maybe we find our query there.
Yeah, I mean, it's no point going back.
Right. Thank you for helping us, Jay, by sending drone to come with us, even though you were fixing the other one. But now we have 2 drones, which is very helpful. Well, yes, let us go. And she'll start to, make her way down that hallway.
As you pass the body, there is a sound coming from the direction of the body.
Ooh, I don't like it.
It's
Yeah, I'm gonna go turn and look at that.
it's hard to tell where it's exactly coming from. For a moment, it's either the body or behind it. But then you watch as this body, who is clearly dead, jerks for a moment forward.
Nope. No. The answer is no.
Um,
Fuck.
I think Mojave was, excuse me, sir, you're dead.
as the body jerks forward again and again, eventually, not the sound of gurgling. This is not someone breathing. This is the sound of something pulling itself out of the dead man's throat. As a long red worm-like thing slides out of his throat, falls onto his lap. It stays still for just a moment before pulling itself up. The front of this, whatever it may be, tears open in this mock mouth as it lets loose this screeching noise. And then red tendrils on its back split and tear into tiny wings as you watch it slither uncomfortably quickly up the wall, jumping into the air and flying as fast as possible down the tunnel.
I hate that.
You know, I had a nightmare a bit like that once.
Past us or away from us?
Down, like, if you guys were headed, like, down the tunnel, it's going down the corner. So, like, it's headed away. It is headed away from you.
Oh, where the sharp corner is.
Yes, although I will say, given that at least some of you were starting to walk past the body, some people are in its way. I will give everyone right now, if you would like to remove this thing's existence, I will allow you to roll a single attack before its speed takes it well away from anything.
Foul. This is foul. I would like to very much take a shot at it.
Of course.
Yes. You'll have to remind me, what is the... Do I just click my weapon to do the roll, or...
Yes.
Okay.
That will be your attack.
Okay. Oh, it didn't... Oh, here it goes. Sorry. It was slow for a moment there.
I'm doing these rolls privately. This is why you don't see them come up.
Crap.
You fire off a round, and you just barely clip the back end of this thing. It does not stop flying. It lets out another of its shrill, odd, wet shriek noises. But as you watch the bullet hit this thing, and you just see a spatter hit the wall as it flies away. It, like the bullet just went through, it spatters a bit on the wall, and the bullet hits into the wall. It doesn't seem
It's
to
gone.
actually... It's flown down the tunnel. But the most important thing you notice is it does not seem to react to the shot. It is not pushed. It is not shoved. It just simply screams as the bullet goes through it and then keeps its momentum as it goes down the tunnel.
I like that even less.
Can my two drones try to hit it?
Yes.
Okay.
I will let the drone fire, but be aware that both of your drones have rather large guns. And they are currently in a very small tunnel floating above your friends. If you do this, that is fine, but be aware I have a special little thing that I like. That is my fate coin. And I will be flipping this fate coin if you fire. I will allow you to pick the result. If you fail, you will be hitting one of your friends as well as the creature, if you even manage to hit the creature. But your friends will have to start making defense tests.
Okay.
I'll die by
Well,
ricochet.
so here's the thing. If he had his lethal rounds in, Jay would be cautious about that and probably not do it. But he has non-lethal, which is actually less lethal rounds, the gel rounds. So he's like, sure, it won't hurt.
Amazing.
All right. I will be keeping this secret from you. I would like to pick heads or tails real quick.
Heads.
Fuck.
And you may make your attack now, and then I will tell you the results.
All right. Now, okay. Let me roll for the drone. And I think should I add the AP to this dice before I roll it, or just -1 after it's rolled for the gel out? I'll just roll what the weapon says, and then we can take one away.
Yeah, it should ask you for a modifier. You can put a -1 in that. Although that is the armor piercing. Roll it as normal, because that is just the armor piercing. That won't matter until later.
Okay, yeah. Do I just click that? Do you mean to click one for each drone?
If they're both attacking, yes.
I'll have just the one. Nah. Yeah, I'll just have the one do it.
Ready?
Amazing.
Let's see. I will say, I'll give you at least this. You probably had the drone that was closer to one side than the drone that was behind you. Fire. So that will be Mojave and Morningstar, who will now have to make defensive tests. So you will be rolling your armor.
And the AP for that is +1, which I guess would lower the armor penetration by 1.
Yeah, it would actually make their armor bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rolling armor, or could I roll to hit the deck?
I think I rolled the right thing, right?
Oh goodness gracious.
Yeah, I just rolled my armor.
Yeah,
like the armor jacket.
They may have caught me. Give me 2 seconds to look at something. Goodness. You may roll agility and reaction instead of your armor.
Okay. Because, yeah, the moment them drones start whirring up to do anything,
Yeah. I will say that, Chastity, you are fine with that soak roll. Literally, the gel bullets just bounce off your jacket, and you're fine.
I think I turn around and I say, I didn't shoot you. Why would you shoot me? What is happening, Jay? I thought we were friends.
Where do I click things again?
If you will go into your attributes, you'll click agility and reaction. Well, agility, and that will ask you to pick another attribute.
Okay.
Oh, you'll be the oven.
Okay, yeah.
Now you're gonna have to roll your armor.
Okay. Where did my armor go? There it is. Okay.
You're fine. These are gel rounds. You are fine. We're going to have a moment as both the other members...
I try to hit the deck and I just wind up falling on my face and getting hit by the bullet anyway.
Oh, well, look at that. Goodness gracious. Perfect timing. Well, so let's let him get his headphones on. Then everyone can shout at him for shooting. So the bullets go off. A few of them do strike the small red serpent in the air. It does the exact same thing the other bullet did. It goes through its body, and it does not stop its momentum, does not push it out of the way. It just lets out another screech and disappears into the darkness.
Hey, chummers, like, it's not a big deal. They're gel hounds. It's not like they really hurt.
It could.
Have you ever been shot with gel bullets?
Well, no.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
They
you
still
should
hurt,
before saying
Jay.
it don't hurt.
They still
Well-
hurt.
Yeah, I guess they kind of like paintballs or something like that. They're fine.
Those things. No. Okay, Jay. How about you stand over there and then make your drone shoot at you? Cause you can see first. If it's really that fine, then you'll be fine. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
You're
Is
willing
that
to bet with our
necessary?
lives, bet with yours.
Jay like looks around like, you guys joking, right? Like, you don't actually want me to do that, do you?
I mean, you said they're fine. You said it won't hurt.
All right, fine. Jay's going to turn a drone around to shoot himself with a gel.
Are we doing
He'll
this?
stand in front of Mojave when he does it.
Amazing.
Given that this is I'm just gonna say this one. You stand and order your drone to fire, and it unloads its burst of gel bullets upon you. They in fact do hurt. They hurt a good bit. Turns out anything, even something rubber, traveling at bullet velocity, is gonna hurt. As Jay is peppered with them, there are a few red welts, as a few of them did in fact hit his face.
Jay will jump in the air and yelp and like just curse. He's like, all right, I'm sorry, Mojave. Sorry, Scales. You're right. They hurt a whole lot worse than like laser tag.
So now that we've learned this lesson, we can move on. Let us go. Also, maybe we burn body because I don't like that something has laid egg inside dead body and worm bat thing came out.
How much it matters? I mean, it's gone. I don't think. It was made of blood. Did people don't normally have eggs in their blood? Admittedly, blood also doesn't normally scream and fly away.
Yes, I don't think it's something that I just would like to avoid having more bloodworm bats come after us.
Whatever makes you happy.
Morningstar is going to light this body on fire.
Also,
she's
Mojave
going
does
to-
sort of give Jason a companionable pat on the back, like, "Wow, you actually did it. No hard feelings."
I'm going to take just a little bit of essentially lighter fluid, and pour it on the body, like on the clothes and stuff, and with just like a regular lighter, hold it to the flammable clothes, and light it on fire.
You dump.
Specifically where like the arm wounds are, and near the mouth area where the thing came out of.
You pour what equates to butane over the body, and you set to lighting it, and you notice that your matches will not light. You can strike them as many times as you want. You think they they light for a moment, and they are immediately out.
I do not like it here.
It's
Is
pretty
what she'll
damp.
say.
It's pretty damp down here.
Yeah. Well, let's keep going.
She follows the group, but now she's paranoid. So she's looking everywhere, like, not wanting to get caught off guard by weird blood bats.
You all continue your way down the darkened hallway. The drones, a pretty decent light source, and the gentle whir of their rotary fans ever so slightly echoing off the walls. But given the porousness of these walls, it's actually rather deadened, and you don't think it's traveling very far. All sound is vaguely deadened. Anything is just right around where you are yourselves. You travel in the darkness for what feels like about 10 minutes before the flashlights no longer show the walls of the tunnel, as it has now opened up into a massive cavern. You do not actually need a flashlight in this cavern, as up upon the ceiling of this cavern are many rivulets of what looks like droplets of some kind that have this eerie blue-green glow to them. Some seem to move, some seem to almost sparkle. There is a even maybe inch of water along the floor in this cavern. Other than that, it is hard to tell, as you can see, but it's still pretty dim. But and there's columns everywhere as well, like stalagmites and stalactites that have created their column structures as they have grown together.
Question.
Yes.
Is everything still shiny on the astral?
Yes.
Because Mojave's just looking around. He got the widest eyes, like a kid on Christmas, just like with between the bioluminescent glow and then the magic shine, just like.
I have my thermo eyes on. I think that I'll draw Mojave closer to me. And I'm looking at the stalagmites and whatnot. Because it is that porous material, do I see anything like coming in and out of holes? Is there any movement in water other than the ones we make as we walk?
As you look around this place with thermographic vision, and also T, if he would also like to look around thermographic, you see small heat signatures and immediately recognize them as rats that run along the walls and hop through and around the water. There does not appear to be anything in the ceiling or the walls moving. Nothing like the blood snake that you saw before. Following around on the rats, you are quickly privy to the sight of, from behind one of the columns, an arm stretching out quickly, grabbing a rat, and immediately hiding behind the column again. And everyone in the room hears this sickening just crunch and this tiny little scream as the rat is ended.
I think without saying anything, Morningstar just kind of like points in that direction. And I think she'll get her taser out because she promised non-lethal, so she pulls out the taser.
Is anyone else going to try it, or how would you all like to approach the individual that seems to be hiding?
Should we tell him we're friends and we're here to help him?
That was my first thought.
You can certainly try. I have this just in case he's not so friendly.
He is going to undo the straps around his sleeves. Just
Hello?
preparing for the worst, just in case.
Howdy!
Mojave, you call out to the man, and everyone can kind of hear this shift of water. Very quick jolt, more like someone surprised than anything else. And just dead silence, as if he's attempting to stay as still and quiet as possible.
I think I might still have a granola bar in my pocket if you want that instead of rats.
He drinks blood, Mojave,
Oh, true.
not granola.
Well, maybe he wants to mix it up.
Maybe.
Anyway, hi! Come on, Jack!
There is some more silence, and then there is this very low noise. Mumbling. You know it's a person mumbling, but you can't make out any of the words. He is very low in his throat, and you just hear it. It's just this constant mumbling. It does sound repeated. Like he's repeating a phrase over and over and over and over again.
Okay. Hold on.
Come on out.
Moment.
We're friends.
So, you tell me if this will apply. I have a cerebellum booster that heightens my intuition stuff.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if I can't sort of adjust my hearing to hear exactly what he's saying, if I can instead get intuition wise a vibe for the sound, for the is this an aggressive repetitive thing that he's doing, or
roll me intuition and reaction. Limited by logic.
Okay.
Or limited by mental, I should say.
Mental. Okay. So intuition. Oh, I think I clicked the wrong thing. Hold on here.
Oh, no, you know what? Intuition and logic limited by mental, as you're trying to parse out what you're hearing.
Okay, now how do I do this? So I click intuition.
Yes. Yeah. And then
it doesn't give me a secondary. It just gives me modifiers.
It does after you click modifier. I got tripped up for the same reason.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just say no modifier,
got it. Okay.
And then it will get the secondary, and then no modifier again.
Okay. We got a 5.
God damn. Yeah. You actually can make out something he is saying.
Okay.
You were never taught this language. Not properly. But given everyone you knew who spoke English generally either spoke in an Atzlan accent or a Russian accent, which was very common, where you've gained your accent from. Though you don't know Russian, you know what Russian sounds like.
Right.
And this is a mix of Russian and English. And parsing it through, its grammar is incorrect, but it equates to the words, I don't want to make it stop.
Okay. I will pause. As she's hearing this, her body kind of changes where her tail is out and slowly swaying in the water, and she lowers herself down, and you can see her turn her head Morningstar doesn't have proper ears. It's like, you know, smooth, but there are these tiny little holes there. And I think, like, if anyone could see into her ears, it would just be very, I don't know if you've seen that movie, what is it called? Hush or something? Where those aliens, how their ears look? Is the inside of her ears. And yeah, it's like a weird movement of mechanisms inside of her head.
It's a quiet place, by the way.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. Yes, Quiet Place. And she whispers to the group, he doesn't want to be what he is. He's asking us to make it stop. I think he is referring to whatever hunger he is feeling. He's not
All the more
aggressive
reason.
right now.
All the more reason to help him get back to frenzy, eh?
Yeah.
So are you going to fire that gas grenade, or am I going over there?
We did not get the name. And Morningstar is gonna kind of call out and say, we can help you make it stop. But you will have to come with us. Cannot hide in the caverns. Why don't you come out?
Yeah, we're
we
here
will
to
bring
help.
you where we will bring you where you can get help.
The mumbling stops for a moment, and you hear the kind of sloshing of water, and you can kind of tell he's getting up. And he peeks around the corner. And
I lower my weapon.
Smiles, waves.
And in the dim light, it is hard to tell, but you do notice that his eyes are reflecting as if they were like the eyes of a predator. He looks pale, gaunt. His hair started to fall out. He looks very ill, and there is blood on him. But not a lot. Mostly just a little bit on his mouth and down his chin. But there really isn't that much more blood on him, actually. He's wearing a dress shirt, ruined, a white coat, as if he was some kind of doctor, also destroyed. But though it is dirty, it also doesn't seem to have maybe a couple drops of blood on it, probably from the rat, as it's bright red, but nothing older. And you see a lanyard with some kind of card hanging off of it as he kind of stumbles around the pillar. This is definitely the man you saw in the photo Frenzy gave you, though much more corpse-like.
Shouldn't he be covered in more blood?
Drugs.
Morningstar kind of goes on high alert because she's, given the carnage they've seen so far and how he looks, it doesn't really match up. Right? Because he's not covered in loads of blood, which he should be if he, like, tore someone's arms off and, like, you know, did all this stuff. So she is now kind of looking about the cavern for signs of something else.
In the cavern as it stands, you do not see any other heat source or movement. There are odd points around, like, the water in certain areas that are slightly warmer, but not enough of a difference that it's like, you can't tell, but it's not a lot.
Right.
Mojave's just sort of there at looking at the guy making, like, the "it's fine, we're friends" noises, open body language, very much trying to project we are safe, we are here to help. No weapons in his hands.
Yeah, my taser is very much like low. You know, she's not directing it at him. um, but definitely nervous. uh, well, either he comes peacefully or not, but this is the man we are looking for, yes?
Nod, nod. Come on, Pally. We know a guy. We know a doc. Specializes in stuff.
The man does stumble forward a little bit. He's shaking violently. His hands have a little bit of blood from clearly the rat, but he's holding something in his hands, gripping it very tightly, kind of rubbing his thumb across it. Whatever it is, it's very flat, possibly some kind of fabric. You can't tell from here. And he looks up at Morningstar specifically. And Morningstar, you start hearing him do another repetition. But this is numbers. Numbers in Russian.
Yeah, all right.
And you recognize these
Okay.
numbers.
I didn't. God.
Because it's all numbers and it ends in a letter. You recognize this. Because this is your number. And he's doing it over and over and over and over and over again, chanting it like it is some kind of hex or spell or something. There's no malice in his tone. There's no malice when he looks at you. He looks scared, if anything. Like he's confused, like he's looking at the other people, but always falls back to you as if he's terrified or something.
So Morningstar kind of like, I think, stumbles back a bit when she hears the numbers. And you can probably hear the nervousness in her voice. And she almost like whispers, he knows who I am. He knows who I am. He's saying and he is probably gonna have a panic attack. Probably 1,000-yard stairs shit happening in this moment.
Mojave just sort of touches her shoulder, but he's still maintaining eye contact with the target, not letting the calm body language stop, doing his best to keep, to not escalate anything. But the hand to try to calm, just like, we're here, we gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, I think, whoops, I did not mean to click that. I'm so sorry, y'all. Yeah, I think, she starts to, like, kind of hyperventilate, and her body starts to violently shake. And she, like, starts to look around, like, very shifty-eyed, and she is looking for, like, the darkest spot in this cave to hide. And if she finds it, she'll immediately, like, as fast as is physically possible, dash to the dark spot. Just muttering under her breath, he knows who I am, he knows who I am.
As you dash away, the man's demeanor shifts. He stops his he almost has 1,000-yard stare. And suddenly he is a little more alert. And he starts speaking in pure Russian. And this is not numbers. This is not broken Russian like you're used to. This is something that, if she was more aware, Morningstar has no chance of understanding what this man is saying. But Mojave, as you have not taken your eyes off this man, you do see on his face, he has a sudden moment where he is much more aware and clear on his face. And he seems to reach out towards where Morningstar's ran away. and he's just looking at her, and he's no longer repeating phrases. He's just actively talking as if she could understand him. And he just looks like he's sad and reaching out towards her.
I don't think anyone knows Russian, right?
No one knows Russian. He is, at this point, he is doing the equivalent of very sad gibberish.
Far away is he?
Jay,
10 feet from you. Maybe 15 feet.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
Hey. You gotta gas this guy or what? Like, T's tone of voice, his body language is getting very impatient.
Yeah,
Especially
man.
with
I was just
the way
trying to-
Morningstar is behaving.
I was just trying to, wait for the signal. But you right, man. I'm gonna launch
fuck this guy.
Actually, my first drone is going to open up with gel bullets. Then my second drone will follow up with the gas.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Go on ahead and roll for those.
Sorry, Jay doesn't want to piss T off.
That's fair.
Let's see. I'll roll for the bullets. I don't know what to roll for the gas grenade. I think that's technically one of Mojave's spells.
Yeah, you know what? You don't really have to roll for the gas grenade. It's a gas grenade. I will handle that. On mine. The bullets pepper this man. He is not. A, he's not wearing armor. B, he was not prepared to be shot at. Was not expecting it. They pepper him. He cries out very weakly, falls back, and tries to skitter away as the gas grenade goes forward. It dips into the water, and you watch as the gas pours out of this grenade and starts to fill around a space around this man. And you watch as the smoke that appears is this soft purple color, and you watch it start to shift, almost like metal rusting. It turns this sickly orange, and then almost seems to disintegrate in the air, and just precipitate itself into the water around it. And everyone hears this gurgling hiss that echoes around the room. You cannot tell the location it's coming from. It's almost like it's coming from all sides. It did not come from the man, though. When he does hear it, his head goes up, turning, spinning around, desperately looking around for something, before he scrambles up and attempts to bolt down a very narrow, squeezed tunnel.
The moment Jay opened fire, Mojave swore and hit the deck again.
T's gonna chase him, try to beat him there.
Mojave's also chasing him, but more to see if he's okay.
I'll give this man stumbling. He is very weak. Both of you can catch up to this man. And as you catch up to him, he's literally just trying his best, like a scared animal, to crawl into this crevice in the wall, getting caught the whole way, tearing up his coat.
And the noise, is it still like going on?
It went off once, rather loudly, and then it has not happened again. You don't hear anything else. There's nothing like approaching or anything louder. It was just the one noise in response to what seemed to be the gas grenade going off, and then you didn't hear anything after that point.
Okay.
One thing of note: the gel rounds should reduce the target's physical limit by 2 for knockdown, whatever.
I assure you,
Guys, be
it's
good.
understood. It's not gonna matter for this poor man.
And
Uh,
just question-wise, astrally, the knockout spell that was associated with the gas grenade. Question mark, question mark, question mark?
Do you want to know anything specific about it?
The man is not asleep. Would there be any,
Mm.
indication as to why?
You are used to watching your magic. Well, what you know as your cooking. You've only seen that color happen twice when making a similar potion. Both times it was basically a dud. You always considered it a bad reaction, but now of your, it's like, oh, maybe it's something a little bit different. But as far as you know, that just means the spell didn't work. It not just didn't work, it activated incorrectly.
Okay, so bad batch.
Yeah, that's like the symbol for a bad batch, which is odd because you swore it was good.
Okay.
Hmm.
Noted.
He's going to drag this guy backwards out of the tunnel.
Yeah, I am going to be there trying to stop T
Like,
from
hand-
hurting him.
One hand around the back of his neck entirely. Like, the only thing that's not being squeezed right now is the windpipe. And he's just holding the guy out at arm's length. Like, you might fucking pick up a kitten by the scruff.
Hey, we're here to help. We're here to help. Partially to reassure the guy and partially to remind T.
The man is crying, but he has eventually switched over to English. And through his tears, you just hear him say, "Please, please, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. We never wanted to hurt them. We didn't want to do it. We're sorry."
Who is we?
It's not easy for him to say it, and he does kind of mispronounce it, but it is the word Quetzalcoatl.
Okay.
First things first, let's get you out of here. We're here to help. We know a good doc who specializes in gestures to the guy. Come on, let's get out of here. Yeah?
Do you need any first aid or anything? I'm real sorry about the gel bullets and all. I just didn't want things to. Well, T was getting impatient. I'm sorry.
You didn't do anything wrong, Jay. It's fine. How's Scales?
You guys don't, I guess, know where I am. I don't know. I'm hidden somewhere in the cavern in the darkness, just curled in on myself, sort of like how snakes coil on themselves. Hidden in the dark there, shaking violently, having flashbacks. So silently somewhere having a panic attack.
Yeah. Looking around, are you visibly evident?
He'll glance around with his thermal eyes and look for this
Picking up
pile
any
of
astral
snake.
signatures? I'm looking for a cloud of anxiety in the astral zone.
It is not hard to find Morningstar. She is a pile of snake in a darkened corner, but thermographic vision and astral vision easily can find her. Not only is she full essence, but yes, she gives off heat. I will say that the gentleman has now begun to use a different word. He's stated, Shipetotek will not let us leave.
What?
He says Shipetotek. I am probably mispronouncing that word as the DM, sorry.
Well, Mojave doesn't know one way or the other, so the hua is in character.
Of course.
Who's can't leave what?
Um, I'm gonna leave this up to you, DM. I don't know if I can pull myself out of this reaction. I also don't know how loud the doctor is speaking. So if he's speaking loud enough for me to hear those words, would that be enough to pull me out or send me in deeper?
I
I'll
would
leave that up to
say,
you.
in your attributes section, along the one side, there should be the composure roll. Roll that for me.
Mm-hmm. Composure, where are you? Okay, here we go. Oof. It's not great.
Now, I'm actually going to tell you to roll it again, because I'm going to count not only Quetzalcoatl, but Shipatotek should actually allow you to do it again.
Okay. Better than before, sort of.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, because you've actually got some actual hits. I'll let 2 do it. You're still a little bit out of it, but your brain has registered what this man has stated. And it's kind of coming to you of Quetzalcoatl is the project you were born under. Shipatotek
And
is a name that the Atzlan mages who worked at that place talked about a lot. It's supposed to be an ancient god of blood, but sometimes it's also used to refer to spirits of blood.
So immediately comes to mind the weird snake with wings that was made of blood that we saw earlier. And you said that, like, when we got in there wasn't any weird shit hanging around, right?
Yeah, there was not anything weird in the actual room you were in.
Cool. So I think, like, Morningstar uncoils herself, but she doesn't necessarily get off the ground at first. She kind of slithers through that, like, inch or so of water before finally standing up, and she's still shaking. And she says, "We have to go now. Cannot waste any more time. We will explain more later. Come on." And she, like, very shakily starts moving to get out of this space.
As you all turn to leave, as you have the Russian man, there is this sound as you all kind of come forward with the light finally shining upon the tunnel's entrance, the one you came in from. There's this sound of almost if you've ever heard wood under tension or anything under tension.
Yeah.
And you see the walls are growing out these branches that are very, very quickly closing up the tunnel's entrance. And these branches are not the normal black-blue that the rest of the tunnel is. They are this deep, rusty brown red color.
Dare I say like blood?
Dare you say like blood, as they pierce through the walls of the cave and are covering its entrance.
Does it smell like blood?
I would say the not currently, unless you're gonna go sniff it.
Is it wafting from like it?
No, there's no blood smell
Okay.
wafting currently.
Okay.
Ew. So very quickly, as like that starts happening, right? Morningstar divulges very quickly what. Oh God, what is it? What is it? How do you say that?
I believe it's pronounced Shipatotek. That is the best pronunciation I have.
Okay,
Also-
Shikatotec is blood god.
2 seconds. Real quick disclaimer. I am actively using the god incorrectly. It is actually the flayed god, and is actually a very important Mayan deity. But this man doesn't know that because he's a Russian man who barely heard the word ever. Be aware of
Right.
that, anyone in chat.
Yeah. So Morningstar very quickly is like, they talked about it in the lab. It's some kind of blood god. I don't know. But then again, most of them, they are not of the culture they were speaking. So they want to know the exact definition of what it is. But we may be dealing with some sort of spirit or something of that nature.
Not mind
and-
slapping.
Yep. So as this thing is closing, how fast is it covering up that entrance?
It's moving pretty damn fast. We're think that movie moment of it's only slow in the moment because you're staring at it, but if you try to run up on it, it's already gone. It's already too late.
Yeah. Well, we will have to maybe switch to lethal things. And she's like pulls out her gun, preparing to kind of take a shot at anything that jumps out. Yeah, that's where she's at now.
Mojave,
Hi.
can you talk us out?
I was just about to see. Hey! Just sort of to the room at large. Hi! How's it going?
There is no response.
Havoc?
As you call upon Havoc, the shadowy being slips out of your back. And does not take any form of animal form. He just sort of sits, shifting darkness in front of you. He does not speak for a moment as he sort of almost scans the room around him. And then he slides himself back into your spine, and in your head alone, you just hear, "You gotta run. You gotta go. Quick."
Oh, yeah, there's no comment at that. Havoc says run, Mojave is running. He trusts the others to keep up.
I'm going to, as soon as I see Havoc like slip back into the spine and like, Mojave sort of make the movement of I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna like as I'm running, I'm gonna shoot at the weird blood branches that are closing at the entrance to try to break some of it off so they can make space to get through.
I will say the room does have 2 other exits, one of which is the
Oh.
very tight tunnel that the dude's trying to get into. And I'll give this to Mojave as Havoc probably pulled it. Literally pulled you by the spine to adjust your attention to another tunnel. It is much larger, but it is a tunnel out of this room. And Havoc seemed to have wanted to go there, Mojave. So if you're going to bolt off running, that is where he's probably going to lead you.
Oh, yeah, no questions.
Oh, okay.
We trust
Okay.
Havoc.
If that's the case, then we'll follow after. Or I'll follow after Mojave.
You all run.
Oh,
I
was gonna say, Jason would be like, "Oh, frag this! I didn't bring lethal stuff. I thought this was a non-lethal mission."
Yes, well, things have changed.
And then he will take him and his drones. His drones will probably like be between them and whatever this thing is, and be trying to retreat and follow Mojave.
You all begin your run down this tunnel, and very quickly, you notice maybe a few feet in, the lacuna walls drip away, revealing another utility tunnel. This one's a little more old. Definitely not as new as the one you came in from the storm drain, but still clearly man-made. You bolt through and eventually end up at a very large room. This room has multiple areas of piping, and seems to be some kind of maintenance floor for a very large water pump. You're not sure what this pump is exactly for, but it does seem to be in function as it is making noise. There are multiple staircases out of here. There's places that are actually marked exit. This seems like you've actually managed to find an exit.
Yeah, Mojave didn't stop running until the world stopped shining.
Of course, the world has stopped shining. But only for a moment, as while in this room, you all hear that hiss noise again. And the whole world, all at once, goes red. As every one of you is drenched in some kind of red fluid from the ceiling. I will say right now, Mojave, you are definitely smelling blood.
Amazing. I love it when me and my friends get drenched in blood. So good. Okay.
The blood drips off of you. All of you feel this stickiness to it that it doesn't feel right, as if it's moving on your skin. Some of it drips off of you and slips into the water, and as it almost pools on the surface of the water, this twisted arm, odd wing hand comes out and stabilizes itself in the low amount of water on this floor, and the rest of whatever this is pulls itself out. It looks as if you had some form of spider with 4 legs. Every leg a bat's wing, twisted and bent to hold itself up and aloft. Its face was that of a rather attractive young woman. Her hair falling down around her face and at the ends dripping into the water, as if not really made of anything but blood. As this creature stands there, it grins, and its maw opens to what appears to be the mouth of a lamprey.
No, is what I'm gonna say.
Cody, we was just leaving?
Absolutely fucking not. You feel me?
As it hisses again, from out of the water rise individuals who are not dissimilar in appearance to the gentleman you have in your company, though these are much more rotted looking, their eyes sunken in to the point they are not visible. And they are all covered in red. And they all open their mouths, and this odd, long, red, worm-like tongue lashes out towards you. There are now the blood spirit and 4 feral ghouls standing in front of you.
Disgusting. Okay.
And behind T.
It is now time to roll initiative.
Oh god. Okay. This is foul, I'll have the audience know. Oh, here it is. I was like, I don't know where my fucking initiative button is.
And to make this simpler. Ooh, okay. Big blood spirit. And I'll have the grunts go on the blood spirits.
Oh, should I roll separately for my drones?
We're going to have them go with you just to make this go a little bit more smoothly. So, the blood spirit goes first, and it is going to give an order to its drones. They are all going to run up to each of you and attempt to bite you with their odd tongues.
Thank you.
I don't like this. This in particular is fucking awful.
This is a biohazard, no mistake.
It's nasty.
All right. So we're going to go with the one that's going to attempt to hit. Ooh. Getting my stuff organized. I'm gonna go with Morning Star first.
Okay. Cool. What do I roll to, I guess, dodge? If I can. I don't know. Can I?
Yes, you can. It is agility and reaction. My goodness. Yes, it's agility and reaction.
Okay. Oh boy.
That is not enough. You will need to roll a soak.
Okay. And that's just my.
That's just rolling your
My-
armor. That's your soak roll.
Yeah, my arm. Okay.
Oh. That pulls it down to 0. So yeah, it attempts to lash out at you, and its tongue bites into your armor, and the little blood teeth cannot make it through it.
Lovely. Perfect.
Mojave, you are next. Same thing.
Yeah, it's same again. I would like to very much not. I'm gonna do the thing to dodge.
So agility and reaction. Not enough. Please roll your soak, which is to roll your armor. All right. I need you to take 3 damage. And I need you to roll. Let's see. It should be composure. and that will be inside of your attributes.
Just composure?
Yeah, it'll be in your attributes. It's a roll in and of itself.
Okay. And does this come at a -2 because of the astral perception, or is this just a straight roll?
Yes. It is at the negative.
Dice don't like me today.
2 is enough to stand your ground. The
Okay.
eely, leech-like tongue lashes out at you, bites into the duct tape part of your jacket, and manages to sink through, scratching into your stomach.
Panicking, batting at it, hopping away, trying to get behind T.
As it bites in, you're pulling away. The tongue appendage rips out of this thing's mouth, and the wriggling blood leech holds onto your skin. It is now stuck to you.
That's not good.
And yes, the ghoul, basically, after the thing gets ripped out of it, it seems to remain inert for a moment. But it does seem to twitch as if it's waking back up. Next one is Jason.
Oh, I will try to dodge.
It's your agility and reaction.
What? Wow, that's
Is that a
so
glitch?
bad. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's a glitch.
Oh.
So, with a glitch, I gotta do this to you. I cannot give you a soak roll.
Oh.
This thing is going to come right through your armor, and bite into your top left arm.
Well, I forgot to buy any, so that's Jason's.
Perfect. So it bites through, it gets to your arm. You're going to take 3 physical damage and 3 stun damage, as I'm not going to give you a composure roll either. As it pulls away, it yanks out the tongue. The tongue is now attached to you as well. C103. Jesus Christ. You may roll to dodge or to possibly strike this thing in the face. That's up to you.
First part of that was cut off for me. You talking to me?
Yes. You can roll to dodge.
I can roll to dodge or strike it in the face, you said?
Technically, yeah, but you auto take the damage. I actually don't recommend you do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll try to dodge. Which is agility and reaction, yeah?
Yes. And obviously, as this is with your legs, it's not gonna... Oh! Wasn't actually expecting that. Roll your soak roll, then. So roll your armor.
That's not the correct amount of dice. I think I rolled the wrong thing very, very completely. There we go.
Yes, that's correct. Huh, you rolled a defense dice.
Dang.
Unfortunately, this thing's little leech attempted to bite into a fleshy bit, and it missed. It bit into metal. the little leech squeals, and the feral ghoul wheels back in seemingly pain, but you're unsure that this corpse is feeling pain. That is the blood spirit's turn. And so, Noskavian, you and your drones are up next.
The one that attacked me, I think Jason's gonna, like, in pain, kind of like jump back a little bit, like, and then he's gonna try to, like, point his drones at the guy who attacked him, and then unload with both of them with the gel round, because he didn't think he would need lethal and non-lethal.
Go on ahead. Roll 2 attacks for me. 1 for each drone. Ooh. That is a glitch on top.
Oh,
The drone accidentally jams its clip, and during its next turn, it will not be able to fire, as it will have to clear the jam.
okay.
I will roll for that 3. It's hit instead. Which takes some damage. What is the damage of the gel bolts? Oh, right there.
I think it's the damage mod. I think the damage mod it has listed for the gel is plus 0s, and then the armor piercing reduces the armor piercing by 1, and it increases their knock. It reduces their body for the knockdown roll 2. I put it in Discord.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. You do have the wrong type of damage loaded in for that gun. But that's okay. Well, actually, that's loaded for your other ones, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the default. I didn't modify it for the gels.
That's still fine. That's still a lot of stun damage. A lot of stun damage. They're unarmed individuals soaking with just their skin. The gel rounds from the one pepper into the individual who is still twitching, as it seems to be coming back to itself after tearing its tongue out in your arm, which is still wriggling violently, by the way. And do remember, you also have a turn, and there is a worm leech burrowing itself into your arm.
I will try to pull that out.
Okay. You do seem to do something to this thing, as it does stumble back away from you even farther as it's getting pelted by these bullets. And then you may make an attempt to pull this thing out. It will be your strength and your body to yank this thing out of you.
Could I use medicine or not?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can use medicine instead. And Mojave, on your part, you can also, if you get hit with this, I believe you did.
Yes,
you can also use first aid.
Cool, because I was going to ask.
Yes.
I don't know if that would be better. I'll roll it in. Oh, yeah, that is.
Yeah. I'll say you recognize that this is a leech, and so you grip around the jaw point and twist and pull. And you are able to get not just the worm, but the head of the worm out of your skin as well. And then you can yeet this thing into the water if you'd like.
I think I will try to stomp on.
There is about 6 inches of water.
I will yeet it. I will yeet it at the guy I'm shooting. I'll just throw it at him.
You yeet the leech at the feral ghoul. I'll just say it smacks into his face and then very quickly slithers its way back down this man's throat, leaving a slimy blood trail across his cheek.
Really gave him a tongue lashing.
Yo, bro, keep your tongue in your mouth.
Oh god. Okay. Next up is either Morningstar or T. I will leave it up to you to pick who goes first.
So, I actually have a question.
Yes.
And I don't know if you want me to roll for this, and I guess I'll use my turn to do this, should you say so. The project that I was under, right? I sort of have like a knowledge skill that I can use to figure out if I had, heard the name of the spirit and if I gained any information that would at least let me know like a basic how to get the fuck away from it.
I would say it wouldn't be Project Quetzalcoatl, but the fact that that's under as technology, I will let you roll as technology.
Okay, so T, I don't know if you want to go first, but that is what I'll be doing.
You can go first.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So should I guess just as technology is what I should roll, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Two.
All I can give you,
even if it's like basic, yeah,
very basic line. You know for a fact the way it looks, the way this thing is, everything you've ever heard described. Though you don't know its name, you know that this is a blood spirit. And name aside, blood spirits are always violent. They can never be reasoned with. They are created from blood sacrifice. They require suffering and pain to bring them about. This is not an okay thing to be around, and you know that they are not going to stop until they get what they want, which this one seems to want blood. A lot of it. This thing is in your way, and there is a good shot you're not getting away from it.
Okay, so rapid fire, what happens is Morningstar starts just like as if her mouth opens and computer information comes out, and she lets the entire team know what the fucking deal is, what the vibe is with this creature. Fucking yikes. So it's in front of us where the exit would be?
Yes. Basically, think of it as this large room. The pump is behind this giant bat spider leech. The stairway upstairs to where the exit is, there's two of them, and they're right next to that water pump. So if you try to run past it, there's a good shot this thing could just wheel around and beat you into the wall.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I let everybody know what we're fucking dealing with. Blood sacrifice, all that shit. What it wants is blood, that whole deal. Probably explains why your knockout thing did not work. Okay. And then I think shit. Can I do something else, or was that essentially my action?
No, you can do something else. Rolling a knowledge like that, I don't count as counting your turn.
Okay. So my question is, because I am next to Mojave, I believe, still has like weird leechy thing trying to burrow itself into him.
Yes.
Cool. Can I try to pull it off of Mojave?
Yes.
Especially in like that same fashion that I saw.
Yeah, it would be it'd still be strength and body because you're pulling it off someone else.
I do have first aid.
Mojave does have first aid.
Could I get like, I don't know, maybe a modifier with that first aid? Do you know what I mean? Like Mojave literally
I would
telling me how
definitely
to do it as I pull it
my
off.
first priority is to get this thing off of me. Like I'd be fishing in my bag, like oh, I got tweezers.
I am not afraid to touch. I use hands. I've got big hands.
Got them. Got gloves so as to not interact with the thing too much. I mean, we're already covered in blood, but like
I've got
Yeah.
fucking mitts for hands, so maybe.
I will allow
Mm.
because it's your turn, I will allow you to roll with a modifier. Roll
Okay.
strength and body and let's go with a +2
Okay.
to your dice pool.
Strength of body. Got it. So two. There's 2 6s in there. Will that be enough?
Not for the strength roll. This
Okay.
thing holds on tight and well, now it gets revealed. If you do fail the strength roll, you pull and you think it comes out, but it just pops off its body. There is still a head that is
Ew.
squirting out blood as it tears into Mojave.
It's like a fucking tick. I hate it.
oh yeah, no, there is the very calm kind of panic. First he's like handing her a bottle to shove the thing in for later analysis. I'm like getting gloves. I'm like ready to whatever I need to do to get this thing way out of me.
Put in bottle, screw cap on, shove in bag.
In there with the Febreze.
Now, I will count that as your turn. So it is T103's turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to punch through my guy's face and pull the worm out of his mouth.
Okay.
You got your tongue?
And if that's a called shot, so be it.
Well, Shadowrun doesn't really. I mean, it does, but
One second.
Is that a cold shot? Yes, it is.
Sorry, technical problems. What was that?
Don't worry about it. It is cold shot, but that's fine. Roll your damage as normal. Just roll it. Roll to hit this motherfucker. He's probably not going to be able to dodge it. Oof. Oh, he glitched. Oh shit.
How about that?
As you punch forward with this glitch, instead of dodging, he attempts to eat your hand, which means he gives full and honest access to the leech as you grab it and then keep going.
We call this a slot.
I'm not gonna lie, these grunts didn't have a lot. Your fist goes right through this grunt's head, and on the other side is the wiggling, reeling worm in your palm.
This is
and
foul.
As you finish the punch at the other end, you just squeeze and the worm just pops in your hand.
He's mean mugging the spirit the entire time he's doing this.
T's a fucking legend.
By the way, the other hand still full of this guy's neck.
Yep.
Still
The Russian man is at this point basically comatose. He's just
I'll drop him then.
hanging there.
Picturing
He's-
a ragdoll, limbs flailing.
Yeah, you're just gonna drop him into the water.
I'll toss him so he's at least like face up.
You toss
Don't
him into
put him
the.
in water.
You toss him, and he is now floating in the water.
Oh.
The minute you toss him down, the blood spirit leans slightly forward, almost like in the way a dog does a play bow. And it just centers its eyes on him. And its mouth, this lamprey-like mouth, seems to shift open. And you watch as lines go across the cheeks, down the neck, into the body, as it just opens its entire mouth. That is, the entire lower jaw is its jaw, its neck, its undercarriage. Big enough to bite a man in half. Or maybe bite someone's arms off. As it just stares at this man, ready to end it.
I want to vomit.
So it's now Mojave's turn.
Oh god!
Mojave, you do now in fact have a little blood leech screw in your arm, currently bleeding you dry. Or attempting to.
Yeah, I would like to have that not happen, please. I got rubber gloves. I got tweezers. Got a knife if need be. Like, this thing is coming out of my arm and into a bottle.
I will let you roll first aid.
And question, does it take an entire turn to come out of astral sense? Or could I do both that and dig the thing out of my arm?
Mm.
And I sober up to roll this sober.
Coming out is fast, going in is hard. So I think, because I think it's the opposite of the Matrix, I believe. So I will allow you to go out of astral to deal with this.
Okay. Because, yeah, I'm focused. I am digging this thing out of my arm one way or another.
Yeah, I will allow you to roll first aid normally. That is enough. You are able to tweezer underneath this thing's sharp teeth. This oddly rotating set of teeth. And you are able to pull it out of your upper shoulder.
It's going into a separate bottle.
You plop that thing into a glass bottle, and even in the bottle, it is just constantly grinding as if its only goal is to just tear.
Give it a slightly vindictive little shake as I shove it back into my bag and get a bandage.
As you shake it, it eventually kind of sticks its mouth to the edge of the glass, weakly trying to bite it. We will go around to the top of the round, which is the blood spirit. I would like everyone to make a composure roll.
Lord have mercy. Okay. Composure. Just composure?
Yes.
Okay.
We all have to make that? Sorry, I was
Yes.
suddenly realizing that I should have rolled that at a +2. So,
Yes. You should be rolling. All roll composure. Escavian?
You're muted.
Oh yes. Sorry.
You gotta roll composure.
Composure.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, it is the blood spirit's turn.
Yes.
Composure. Oh, I see it.
Jason and T103. You feel the blood spirit lets out this hissing noise. And both of you feel this curdling in your stomach. Please take a point of stun damage, and both of you are going to vomit up a red liquid.
Oh, okay.
Out of character, this is shockingly like a nightmare I once had.
I hate this so
I'm
much.
so
You don't
sorry.
even know, dude. This is fucking the worst.
Jay just retches and this red liquid comes out.
Oh god. Oh god.
Start rummaging in bag faster.
Your stomach just feels like it's in knots. T, you as well.
I think seeing T lose composure makes me, Chastity, incredibly nervous.
T barfs, of course. Kind of just drags his sleeve across his face afterwards, and then steps between the spirit and the man.
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Alright, we are back at the top of the round. It is Jason's turn with his drones.
Jason will try to get his composure, and then I guess if the creature that is immediately threatening him is still standing, he's going to. Well, the one drone's gonna clear its jam. Or does the drone clear its own jam, or do I need to help it clear its?
The drone can clear its own jam, as it can also reload, so it just drops the mag and puts another one in.
Okay, so one drone's clearing its jam, the other drone I watch.
With this final peppering of bullets, eventually, in this thing's screaming and crying, a few of those gel bullets go into its throat. You hear this coughing noise, and then it just starts to retch violently, and it twitches as it falls into the water. You now have your turn.
Okay. Does anyone look like they need help?
Probably the guy that we were supposed to bring back to Frenzy.
Oh,
he's currently face up in the water.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, floating.
He's currently eyes open, staring at the ceiling as he just floats in the bloody water.
I will go pick him up and try to set him up and hey, bro, you okay? No hard feelings about earlier. I just want to make sure you're all right.
You go over and get the man up and spend your turn getting him away from the mess. And the minute you get him up and you're holding him, the blood spirit lets out this gurgling snarl and this long wormed tongue that seems almost segmented whips around like a bullwhip, making snapping, cracking noises.
I hate it.
Yikes.
It's so awful every time.
It is now Morningstar's turn again.
Yeah, it's my turn. That's so great. Love that for me. Okay. Shit. Okay. So, is it fair to say that I saw Jason's drone shoot one of the ghouls in the neck and that it dropped dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, my hope is to be able to hit this thing in the neck. Whichever ghoul is closest to me, and Mojave, I want to shoot them in the neck.
All right. Roll your just roll your weapon as normal.
Okay. Yeah.
You fire out with your Ares Predator, and this creature, as it walks towards you, jerks and shifts violently, seeming almost to quicken or slow its movements at random, and it's too hard to hit as it jerks its neck out of the danger zone.
Yeah, I will say out loud, go for the neck, but I will also look at Mojave and I will say, Mojave, your abilities, they are of spirit. Perhaps there is something, a knowledge you can gain from Havoc that will allow us to find a way out of here. At least to quell the spirit momentarily. Long enough for us to get out.
Rummaging through his bag as though he expects to find, or he hopes to find answers in there somehow.
It's not in your bag, Mojave. It is in your head.
It's in my head.
Spirit. Ask Havoc. Havoc!
She's just yelling, Havoc! We need answers.
With that, T, it is your turn.
I understand. So the blood spirit, the tongue's whipping around, and it's posturing like it's about to go for Jay, and the target, and T is just going to close the distance and try to uppercut this thing in its ugly fucking mouth and maybe make it bite its own tongue off.
Okay.
In the background, you just hear Morningstar. No, you fool!
You fool!
Just like, you fool! Don't hit it! You cannot kill it!
Go on ahead.
Sure, I would like to apply my 1 point of edge to this, if I may.
Sure.
Because he's never punched a spear before. He doesn't know how this is going to go.
Are you using the edge to add, or... Ooh, hold on. There's a couple ways edge works. Oh, dear.
Okay.
You know what? If you're gonna be... Alright, I think you're trying to use edge in its, basic form, so that would be clicking edge and using it. That's exploding tens.
Yeah.
Yes, then click the toggle for edge and roll.
Alright, you got it.
Just make sure you take the toggle off after this roll. Ooh. No. It attempts to defend. It does not defend. Tries soak. Fails it. Didn't think it would get it. Let's see.
Never mind, I take it back. You are not a fool. You can hit it.
So as you come around and uppercut this blood spirit, you catch the tip of its massive lower jaw and slam it up into its upper jaw. And it snaps down on its whipping tongue at one of its segments, and it just snaps off. The parts of the tongue that were away from the creature immediately split and break apart into many of the red worms, and they spatter all into the water. It itself, as you complete the punch and your arm moves, you hear this loud, almost bone-like crack as this thing's pale face starts to crack as if it was made of stone. It lets out this disgusting roar. Everyone roll composure.
Oh,
Composure.
I should add my minus dice, right?
Yeah.
And-
Well, if you've already marked your health, it's doing it automatically. I assume it's the damage you've taken. As long as you've marked it on your condition counter, yes, it's already doing it automatically. Wow, everyone but Morningstar. 1 point of stun, and you will all be vomiting red liquid.
Bleh.
Yeah.
He makes the ugliest face while trying to vomit while maintaining eye contact with it, but he fails. All right, he's trying. A little comes out his nose, but he's like,
Mojave's just like, crap, not in my bag, not on my open wound.
Just like this. Vomiting.
As this thing stumbles backward from the hit, we will come to its turn, and after the damage it's taken, it is going to astral form.
Wait,
and disappear.
Did I get to go?
It
I
had
did.
a
Never mind, I lied to you.
28. It would get 3 turns this combat.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
It's a big boy. Although,
Yeah.
in its weakened state, it does in fact scream and disappear to all. As no one here is seeing astrally, as Mojave is out of it, it disappears as it goes into the astral plane.
Fuck. Okay. Okay. Do we roll initiative again, or?
Yes, everyone would roll initiative again.
Okay.
Mark everything down. Okay. First up is the blood spirit again.
God damn it.
This will be the remaining ghouls attacking. One of them is actually going to spin around and attempt to attack T from behind. So we're going to do him first. T, you want to roll to dodge?
Yeah, do I have a negative for being attacked from behind?
If I shout T behind you, will that not make him take a negative?
I won't give you a negative this time, as it okay.
Oh, that didn't matter.
It attempts to get a hold of you, and it just ends up gnawing on your shoulder a little bit and scuffing up your jacket.
Just picturing the casual brushing it off.
Excuse you. Rude.
One is going to now attack Morningstar.
Great, love that for me. Right, I'm dodging.
Can I please do that against T and not you two? I feel bad if I do it there.
God damn it. Okay, what am I rolling again? Body and reaction or something? What am I rolling?
Yeah, it's agility and reaction.
Agility and reaction. Okay. Oh my god, please. Okay. Oh, I hate it. Yep. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
It's okay.
Oh. Soak? That's your armor?
Yes. Hold on. I panic forgot about the soak. Okay.
Yeah.
He's 4?
You're going to take... You're going to take 3 stun. As though it does not pierce your armor, there's still a pain as it lands into you pretty heavily with its teeth.
Okay. So no physical damage, just the stun.
Just the stun damage.
Oh, lad. Okay.
And then it will be Mojave.
Gosh. Got something in my head. I don't know if it would help. Fishing around in my bag. So, one of the little concoctions I can put together would be to purify something, like, say, water. Which is to say, blood be gone.
Yes, but that would be on your turn.
Yes. Just asking, just in advance.
Yes, if you would like to try to make that, I'm unsure of how. Well, I was always intending on making them move a little faster, so we'll see.
Okay, so in order to not, it's agility and reaction, yes?
Yes.
And I don't have to -2 myself for once. And it makes no difference!
Oh.
How do I roll better when I'm doing it at -2?
I'm terrified to do this. But 3 physical, and there is now a worm trapped in your neck.
Another one, yay.
You'll have many specimens. This is physical damage.
Yep.
Actually, wait a minute.
Question.
I'm sorry. That was my mistake. Roll your soak. I forgot.
Oh, true?
Forgive me. That was my mistake.
I have
Question while we're
armor!
doing that.
Yeah, roll
Yes.
armor.
Question. Shit, I lost my question. God damn it.
So sorry. Mojave, scratch
Never
what I
mind.
said. You are fine.
Hey, bounces off. Thank goodness I'm wearing armor.
Yeah, it tries to bite down and just pulls off a piece of duct tape instead, and it gets stuck in its mouth.
Good. Can I take it as a specimen anyway? Can I just grab it and shove it in a bottle real quick?
On your turn. Next up is T, as that is the blood spirit's turn.
All right. This thing chewing on his shoulder from behind, he's going to reach back and kind of just palm the skull and pull it around in front of him. Place the other hand on the opposite side of the skull. Raise his elbows and then press his palms together while glaring in the direction of where the thing disappeared.
I'm so sorry. My audio cut out there. Would you mind saying that again?
Yeah, so he's going to reach back and palm the skull of this thing that's chewing on his shoulder and pull it around in front of him. Place his hands on either side of it, raise his elbows, and press his palms together while mean mugging the spot where the spirit disappeared.
Okay, that's great. Please roll your unarmed combat. Ooh. He brought himself in here. Oh. It slips out of your hands. As you attempt to palm it, you manage to palm it and pull it in front of you. As you set your arms on either side of it, before you can even press down, this thing's skull seems to collapse and flatten willingly, and it just slides from your hands.
Ew.
All right.
He just looks down at it as it lands in front of him. He kind of rubs his one of his thumbs against the other four fingertips, like his hands are covered in jam.
Ew.
You're covered in some loose gray matter. All right. Decide between yourselves, Morningstar and Jason. Who wants to go first?
Oh.
If you want to go, you can go. If not,
I have a question.
Yes.
No matter when I go, I have a question. So my fangs, right? I have a venom. It's like do. So I have a question. Would I be able to like projectile like spit acid out?
Sadly, that is
No.
a different ability, I believe.
Yeah, I would have to bite down, huh?
Unfortunately, with the way your character's biology is, yes. There's a different set of things we could have done to give you that.
Yeah. And it's probably a bad idea to bite down on this, like, common sense wise. Probably.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just
Not
a
a good
little
idea.
bit.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay, I guess, if you don't mind parasites, but
And no, I mind them. They're fucking gross. Okay, cool.
Yeah, don't go French in the blood spirit.
Yeah, maybe not. Cool.
French the
That's
blood spirit.
cool. You know what? How you can go, Jay. While I figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do, but you can go.
in that case, I will take my my two drones and how many of these like ghoul things are left? Was that big baddie? No, the big baddie ran away.
Well, the
Right?
big baddie disappeared.
Disappeared.
There are 3 ghouls left. Oh, wait.
Okay.
No, there's not. There should be only 2. That was my mistake.
Okay.
I forgot your drone killed one.
Yes. It choked on some rubber bullets or gel bullets.
Well, we'll just say a 5th one popped out of the water. So there's 3 left now.
Oh. Okay. Whoever who looks more hurt? Mojave or Scales?
Has
Just
Scales
like at a
taken
glance.
damage?
Give me a second.
I've taken stun damage, but I haven't taken any physical damage.
Yeah, I'm still bleeding.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably
So-
Mojave.
If Jay can spot that Mojave looks like he's a little beat up, then Jay would send his 2 drones over to start unloading some gel bullets. Eat my non-lethal barrage.
He's a single boy. He's gonna try to defend and defend. And I believe it does not go to the loser. Or doesn't go to the defender, I don't believe. It goes to the attacker, so that is going through. They don't have a soak roll due to the way they're built. Oh dear God. Yeah, no, they pummel this thing hard enough that eventually the rubber bullets start ripping holes in skin. The quantity over quality at this point. And they empty a good couple clips into this thing and it just disappears into the water.
They are not non-lethal. They are less lethal.
Always
Wow,
remember,
Mojave,
kids.
you're right. Gel bullets can kill things.
What
It just takes a whole lot more.
That.
And then, would you specifically like to do anything with your turn?
I'm just gonna check on the guy we're supposed to be protecting. If he's still near me, I'm gonna check on him. Maybe do a medicine check, see if he needs anything.
Yeah, you can do a medicine check on him.
Okay.
He's catatonic. There's a little bit of blood that's leaking from his ears, but other than that, he's just catatonic.
Oof. Well, hey, Mojave, I'm not much of a doctor. You're the one that's more much of a doctor. So I think our friend here might need a little helping hand.
I'm getting there. As he's rummaging through his bag, trying to do so many things all at once, still actively bleeding from his shoulder.
All right, with that, Morningstar, it is your turn.
Lord. There's one more thing, right? Okay, so I have a question. So it wouldn't help me to drop into AR to be able to see where the water spirit went, right? Or the blood spirit went, right? Because that's astral.
Yes. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see the blood spirit no matter what you do.
Oh, right. Okay, that's fine. Cool. So there's one guy left, right? Or is there 2?
There is only... Well, I did say a third one popped up. There's 2 left.
Okay. Shit. Okay. this is a risk, but we're gonna fucking risk it. So I'm pretty fast and I'm rather long. So I'm gonna very quickly slither my way to whichever one is nearest, and I'm going to put my shove my gun into its mouth and shoot. Or, that's the attempt. It's gonna be that.
Yeah, roll your gun for me.
Okay. Do I get any modifiers because it's attempting to put it in its mouth?
No modifiers, just fire.
Okay. Okay. 3, not bad, not bad.
Oof, nope, it's getting hit. Yeah, no. With that being at its weak point, you blow a couple bullets down the throat, and the entire back of this thing's neck explodes out, and it just slides off your gun's barrel and falls into the water.
Hey, nice.
It is
okay.
Now Mojave's turn.
Yeah, I'm rummaging around in my bag. I'm taking out my various cans of Febreze. I would like to concoct a let's get this blood out of the water potion.
That takes minutes.
Yes, but what else am I gonna do?
Morningstar is going to, after shooting the thing, look back at Mojave and say, Mojave, you have special eyes. Use special eyes. Find the thing.
Mojave, I think you're misunderstanding. Every round of combat is, I believe it is 6 seconds.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yours
I would like to start.
I will tell you right now, if you start this, you are now out of combat.
As a non-combat character, that is my intention. I would like to start making a potion.
Anything else during this combat at all.
I mean, would if needs must, I can abandon the project and yeet myself to dodge. Is it possible to abort mission?
I will allow you to, but I deeply do not think this is a good idea. But please, as long as you know you are informed, then I will retract my common sense.
Yeah, no, I am not about to try administering medical aid while I am actively bleeding and the world is covered in blood. Things need to be sterile before I can administer medical aid. I am going to sterilize things. This is a bad idea, but I'm sticking to it.
You have a gun.
I'm a doctor!
Okay, that's fair. Alright, you know what? That's okay.
I took an oath!
Alright, wrapping right back around to the Blood Spirit's turn.
You're almost a doctor. You're not a full doctor yet.
I took an oath, dang it!
Fair enough.
I might not be able to pronounce the oath, but gosh darn, I took it!
The Blood Spirit reappears on its turn, directly next to Jay. And is going to attempt to use its long, segmented tongue to throw Jay.
There.
Oh, Jay's not there? Oh, he's not there.
No, he put in the Discord that he got a work call.
Well, I can't kill him now, can I?
Can't defend himself.
Alright, T, you're next. Fuck you, you heard it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, T.
What's that shit? I'm trying to find that shit.
Did you say something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm working the thing out there. There we go. All right, it's gonna try to whip around and hit you in the face. All right. I need you to roll soak for me. I was not expecting that. You take no damage.
T's built like a fucking.
I have
truck.
done so.
Although I will say, it has at least, as you do not take damage, but it has wrapped its segmented tongue around your neck and is now holding you. And I believe after that turn, it is going to be T's turn.
All right, gotcha. Completely disregarding the Smucker's soaked ghoul off to the left. He's just going in on the blood spirit. It's got him. He's got it. You know, it's single. He's single. He's trying to make this connection.
Oh my god.
Please roll to make a connection with the blood spirit. Oh. Well, shit, I think you earned its number. Yeah, no, I'll do its soak roll. Oh, that's not enough. Well, as you come around, you slam your fist dead center into this thing's face. The tongue snaps and almost seems to just, in midair, turn liquid and drip itself into the water. As it wheels back from the hit, the cracks extend along its body, and you watch as the thing that was once solid begins to melt into the water while whining, letting out some mix of a baby's cry and a woman's screaming, as it finally rips itself apart and fades, leaving nothing but blood. The ghouls in the area immediately fall dead, and out of their mouths drip the quickly decaying remnants of the worms controlling them.
Ew. I think as soon as Morningstar sees that, she just like goes to Morningstar, grabs all of their like concoctions they were starting to make and bag, and like half picks up Morningstar and just is like move because she's like not wanting to be in this space anymore, and does not know what else lingers here, so trying to escape with Morningstar and Morningstar's things.
Assuming you mean Mojave. Mojave's just.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's
M
Mojave's
names.
thing. Yeah, sorry.
As everything fades and the combat is cooling off, we are going to go for a break, as that combat did go pretty long, so we're all going to take a small break and chill out for a little while, and we will be right back in a bit. Now out of combat, I will let you roll to perform the purify spell.
While this guy is not technically awake, Morningstar is gonna grab the lanyard, pull it off of his body, and look at it. She wants to see more information.
You pull this lanyard off, and the name is Yanni Richter. Is this man's name? The image is of him, but obviously much more healthy. There is in this ID card, it's like a card slid into a plastic sleeve, and there is something else in the back of this sleeve. Pulling it out, it's a set of 2 very small photographs. One of them is of what appears to be an ultrasound. But the baby in question inside that ultrasound is maybe only a top half, and the bottom half is serpent-like and a winding long tail. And then the other photo is of Yanni and a woman. It's just the top parts of these people. The woman is in some kind of hood, like clothes, like a shawl and hood, and it covers up a lot of her very thin lips, very skin not pale, but pallor. She looks maybe sick or thin. But one thing that is very obvious is on her neck and on her hands, which appear to be on Yanni's arm and around his shoulder, are scales. These very deep black-blue scales.
Morningstar is for a moment just stuck staring at this image and staring at the ultrasound. If anyone is looking at her, she would probably have lost all the color in her skin.
I'm still aggressively brewing potions.
You did in fact brew that potion real damn well.
Yeah.
Roll drain for me. Yeah. As long as you're going to use it immediately, you'll be fine with that.
Yeah, no, I am immediately cleansing the surrounding water, so I have clean water to sterilize. I want to clean my wound and make it not, and the other guy, and potion of blood be gone.
Yeah. Fix. Pouring it into this water, I'd say you can purify around you.
Yeah.
Maybe a 50 by 50 square.
Oh yeah, that's a fair bit. And I can scoop some up in one of my various jars to use for first aid purposes. Because that is my next move, is to, clean and tend to my bleeding shoulder and make sure I don't have parasite bits stuck in my flesh.
Yeah. You can roll first aid. It's enough. The wound is torn apart and very jagged, but you don't see any bits that don't appear to be you. And with a little bit of, back alley medicine, you can sneakily sew that thing up real fast. It hurts like a psalm bitch, but it's now closed and not bleeding out.
That's what matters. And yeah, next I'm going over to look at our charge. Give him the medical once over.
One more first aid for me to give him the medical once over. He's not catatonic anymore. He just seems to actually have passed out by now. Eyes closed. He's still breathing. Very slowly, though. His heart doesn't really... You can find a heartbeat, but it's very quiet. He's definitely either very weak or just does not have a lot of life left in him.
Mm-hmm. Any obvious injuries that are not, accounted for by being a vampire disease patient?
The only one
Anything
you
I
can...
gotta sew up or tape back together?
Nothing you gotta sew up or tape back together. The only ones you notice of any interest are odd markings on his wrists and neck that appear like some form of like rope or some other kind of cable-like thing was wrapped around them at one point and was either holding him down or pulling him or something like that.
Okie doke. He's stable, he's fine.
One thing you will notice, clutched in this man's hand in a death grip in his knocked out state, is the thing he was messing with before. It's much more obvious now that you're close up. It is a snake skin. A very tiny one. Shockingly strong, given that this is a shed one. This is not a skinned snake. This is just shed skin. And it is shockingly strong and held together. And he's holding that thing like it is life dependent on it. It's very small. It's thicker than you would expect, but it has very small scale patterns. So, whatever snake this was, I mean, no one can really... Well, one of you might be able to identify it.
Well, he ain't dead and he ain't dying. Let's drag him back to Doc Frenzy.
Teal scooping.
I think Morningstar is stuck. She's staring at this lanyard, the back of it, rather. The scales on the arms and, hands of the woman in the picture, do they seem familiar to me?
There is a massive familiarness to them. There is a very deep core memory in her mind that she can bring up of those hands. Much bigger, comparatively to her, at the time of the memory. Picking her up or holding her.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Hey, Scales, you good?
DM, am I good? I don't know if I'm good right now.
You don't know.
I also don't know if I've gone. Yeah, I don't know if I've gone elsewhere or I'm really not sure.
If you are that unsure, we can do a composure roll and we can go from there. Obviously, this is affecting your character, but if you would like to just know mechanically is this affecting, then we'll do a composure roll.
Yeah. Got a 3.
I would say a 3 is high enough that this is affecting you, this is uncomfortable, but this is not the same as the paralyzing nature of 1,000 Yard Stare.
Right, okay. Morningstar looks up a little bit like they're shaking off a haze, and they look at Mojave, blink once, and the very snake eyes that they have, you see that their vertical pupils are shaking
They look at the man, and there's a moment where, like, almost as if it's like in her throat, you hear like a rattling sound, very similar to the rattling of like a rattlesnake, except it's not coming from her tail, it's coming from low in her throat. And she looks down at the man, or rather, T's picked him up, so looks up at the man, and then will go to the ladder ahead of T and just start climbing up. But you probably could tell in her face that there's a lot of troubled, upset, maybe even some very negative intent there. But she pushes forward.
Are you all going to make your way out following Morningstar?
No, I live in the sewers now. Yeah, no, I'm following.
Yeah.
Same.
You all climb your way out of the sewers, still covered in mess, though it is not red any longer with the blood spirit's death. Any blood that lingered upon your bodies or stuck to your clothing has dried and crumbled off. You're messy, but you do not look bloody as you arrive upon the surface.
Yeah, for the record, I made an effort to wash myself off in the cleaned water, and everybody is getting Febrezed as soon as we exit the sewer.
Everyone comes out of the sewer smelling like Hawaiian breeze. The storm outside is pouring. There is no thunder or lightning or wind, but it is torrential downpour. You find yourselves possibly a few blocks from where the car was parked. Jason, I will allow you, if you'd like to, summon the car's autopilot to come get you guys.
Yes.
You summon the autopilot, and it simply follows its trails of GPS and just your contact location. The minute it gets there, it shuts itself off of GPS, and you're able to take over manual driving, get in your car, and I assume head off at a speedy 35 to 40 miles an hour towards Freak Show Alley.
Absolutely.
In the car, Morningstar has pressed herself like as close as is physically possible to the opposite side of the car, so that she is nowhere near this man. I think it would be like a weird moment where it looks as if she's like thinned herself out, you know, to just create as much distance as possible between her and this person.
I think Mojave definitely there's a moment of eye contact, you know, the concerned, like, hey, you good, but he's not gonna pry in this moment.
I think she has trouble keeping his eye contact. She just looks away and out of the window. She's not really like seeing anything out there, you know.
Oh, question, Dia. So my samples, right?
Yes.
I would like to check them. The little jar with the now that the blood spirit's gone, what remains in my little jar?
What remains in your jar is nothing more but a fine brown dust.
Noted. It's going back in my bag.
A little bit of powdered blood spirit.
Could be useful for a potion.
Maybe.
So, the car drives through the torrential rain, past everything in relative silence. You arrive on Freak Show Row, which is shockingly empty given the rainstorm around. You pull yourselves out of the car and your unconscious charge and head into the alley and past the front door of Frenzy's clinic. The interior is dim, not dark, dimmed. You can hear the sounds of people sleeping and other people groaning or moaning in pain. This is a hospital-like environment, give or take. Sitting with his feet up on the desk, reading some trashy fashion magazine, is Doc Frenzy. Looking up at you, he seems a bit surprised. Oh! Shit! Is he dead?
Now, last I checked, no.
Oh. Shit. Oh, I would have expected Richter to die down there. Alright, come on. I got a bed for him.
Morningstar the whole time is actually looking at the floor in order to avoid having another panic attack in this hospital. So, yeah.
He leads the group, and along with Richter, to a private room in the back. You notice that the door to the room is far more like a prison cell door than it is a hospital door. A lot of locks just in the hallway itself. He enters in. He almost very bedside mannery, gently pulls down the sheets, makes it kind of a comfy place to lay down, and then just sort of points for you to set Richter down on the bed. You're just gonna lay him down or throw him or...
T will set him down as gently as a baby.
Lovely. Frenzy quickly reaches into his back pocket and sets in a message off on his comm link, and in a few moments all of you receive a message, and it is a very untraceable subtle payment of, I believe it was 2,000 new yen per? 2,000 new yen per person. There you go. 2,000 per for him being alive. Also, you all look like shit.
Nod.
Well, like, we were waist deep in it, so.
Do you need
Yeah,
medical
also-
attention?
No, we're good. Do you know anything
Sure.
about So, Doc, blood.
Yes, it's the thing in the body. We
You
all
know,
have it.
usually that'd be the case. Usually it's in the body, but sometimes it's flying around on bat wings.
Excuse
And or
me?
trying to burrow into my flesh in the form of a little leech thing.
The fuck?
Uh-huh. Or sometimes it's a lady.
Hold on. Giant, whatever the fuck, made of blood.
Uh-huh.
There are blood spirits in the fucking sewers?
Uh-huh.
Why the fuck can't Az Technology just keep their goddamn blood spirits to themselves? They're in the fucking sewers.
Morningstar's
at
head.
Doc.
Morningstar's head snaps up when he says "as technology," and she steps in pretty close and says, "What do you know of as technology?"
Well, excuse me, little missy. A lot,
Point at-
actually.
Dude on the bed. Our pal here seemed to know a thing or two as well.
Oh, Richter? I
Yeah.
think he did transfer there from Evo, but according to
Yeah,
Az
he seemed to know
Technology,
things
he doesn't exist
about-
anymore.
You seem to know. He said that what What did he say? He said stuff. You heard him, Scales.
Hold on. Okay. He spoke of Project Quetzalcoatl. I think that's how you said it, right?
Yeah.
And he spoke of the Blood Spirit.
She wouldn't let him leave. He didn't mean to do it. He didn't want to do it.
What do you know?
Richter. Did the blood spirit look like a person at all?
A lady.
Face of woman.
Oh, shit. Oh, Richter.
Yeah, she was. There were people who were like dead, but they had like tongues that were made of blood, but were also kind of leeches.
They
And
were.
he sort of pulls aside his shirt to show all the poorly sewn up wound.
He looks at it. Ghouls. They were ghouls controlled by a blood spirit. It was theorized that could happen, but I guess it's true. I know who made the blood spirit. Poor fucking Richter.
What?
Ah,
Are you saying he made Blood Spirit?
no. But the blood spirit was after him. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I got that impression.
Blood spirit was made by his wife, ex-wife.
Who is ex-wife?
She's... Oh, well, if you read the books, she's just an Aztechnology mage. She's a blood sorcerer. Blood mage. Whatever. Yeah, no. She does blood magic. Everyone knows she does. Though, no, of course not. She wouldn't do that.
Whose
She
blood?
wouldn't purposely infect her husband with HMHVV, would she?
Oh.
Who is she?
Well,
I need the name.
Well, that depends. I've known her by a couple names, actually. I think currently the most common one you're gonna find for her is Ms. Tulip. Ugh. I hate that name.
Immediately, I drop into AR, and I'm going to search essentially the web for this alias.
You
The
find
sort of deeper forums, you know.
like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, we're talking front page of Google storyline. Ms. Tulip is the nickname for an Aztechnology botanist named Sandra Richter.
Okay.
So that she's right there on the front. Like, she is a botanist who specializes in like carnivorous plants and has done a lot of research using them as like blah 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 this, blah blah that, health magazine this. You know, it's just every fucking medical journal had this one story of her figuring out some shit with goddamn Venus flytraps or something.
When I see her face, it obviously does not match the lady on the back of the...
No, that's not the woman
right.
at the back of that thing at all.
And that's his ex-wife. Okay. Now, in seeing her face, just recalling back in my memories, do I remember seeing her around the lab?
That would require a memory test.
I'm willing to do a memory test. There you go. 6.
That's just pretty damn good shit. You only saw her around the lab once or twice. And when thinking of this memory, a memory of Richter himself comes up. You remember Richter because there was a day you were being brought back after some of your daily testing into your chamber where you spent time with your siblings. And Richter was in there basically playing with one of your younger siblings, a younger brother whose build was a little bit more serpentine. His entire lower half was a snake. And that was one of the first times you met Richter, and you only remember him vividly because he smiled at you, which was weird. The scientist didn't smile at you, but he did. He also, at the time, wasn't Dr. Richter. He was Assistant Richter. That's all he was. And you remember that really vividly because every time they found him in there, that's what they would yell at him, and he would immediately rush out of there like he wasn't supposed to be there. Those are like really vivid memories, and then it just leads you on this long line of like, oh, hold on. I remember that lady. I only met her a couple times, but she was scary. She was mean to him a lot. So that's the core of your memories. You remember Richter, remember your brother, you vaguely remember the woman.
Sandra
really
Richter. Thank you. Sandra Richter is not a good woman. She was very angry with him all the time. I remember them from the lab.
Of course she was angry with him. Wouldn't you be if your husband cheated on you with a snake?
Just, like staring off, and that like snaps him back. Like what?
I think whoever is directly behind Morningstar would see with the quickness her tail come out and it raises up like it's going to smack this man in the face. Actually, she smacks him in the face with her tail. It's what she does. She does do that. Yeah.
Your tail comes shooting out to smack Frenzy in the face. And all of a sudden, this bright white coil of some kind of creature reaches up and grabs your tail and knocks it away. And what you're faced with is what equates to a sugar glider, if you know what that is.
Yes.
Just a sugar glider with a really long tail, and it's just hanging on his back. And he just kind of turns and goes, oh, sorry. That was a bit insensitive. And he kind of turns his head more to the thing on his back and goes, thank you, Star. And then it just sort of fades into his spine.
So this absolutely reminds me of Havoc. Okay. God damn it. I think Morningstar, at this point, is enraged. She is very upset. And she looks at Richter on the bed, and I think for the briefest of moment, if you'll allow me to flavor it this way. So Morningstar has mismatched eyes. They're both reptilian, but I think there's this like kind of glow to them for a moment, and you see that her like jaw, sort of without her really being conscious of it, opens up, and you can see that it's doing that thing that snakes do where it like parts open. And you can see that her fangs come forward and they start to drip this very strange sort of clear greenish liquid. And And before she loses control, she leaves the room. She doesn't leave the whole hospital area, just the room, in order to like calm herself down. And so she leaves the room. She just starts breathing really hard, and she's trying to essentially process all this information and the fact that this man might be her dad. So that's where she's at right now.
Just in the room, Frenzy just sort of leans on the table. Oh, shit! I feel I've made an error. Well, shit. Well, you have all gotten paid. Thanks very much. I'll pass on the good word. Now, if you actually need any serious medical attention, here. And he kind of like reaches into a pocket, passes it off to Mojave, and hands you like a card. Go there. Say I sent you. You can get at least one free.
Keep it in mind. By the way, getting out one of the blood dust samples and just hands it to Frenzy. Shrugs.
Oh.
It was in my shoulder, briefly. I don't think it's my blood, though.
He leans it like real close and just smells it for a second. Ugh. Blood. Blood spirit. Gross.
Yep.
But useful. Very useful. Thanks. Do you want any information on it?
Yeah, it'd be cool.
It'll take me some time, but I can probably get you something.
Yeah, that's fine. I got a vested interest in trying to do doctor things, and I feel like that would help.
Well, we'll call this the trade. I get to keep this reagent, and I'll give you the information on it when I got it.
Eh?
Alright, now, all of you, out. I have to operate. I don't need grubby people in my room.
Or clean, as he's tipping his hat and leaving.
Yeah, not clean enough.
Jason would head out. Yeah, you guys feel like heading that clinic place? He said, because I'm a little scuffed up.
I don't think we need that kind of medical attention just yet. Let's save it for an emergency. You go. You got a couple of welts. Let me see. Does Jason have anything more than just a couple of gel bullet welts?
I have 3 physical damage and 5 stun.
Yeah, can I stick a band-aid on them physical damages?
Yes, you can. You'll be able to roll first aid.
Where did it go? There it is. I found it.
Ah.
Literally just slaps a band-aid on his forehead and calls it a day.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of what you just rolled.
Yep, I'm just slapping a band-aid on your forehead and calling it a day. It'll be fine. Walk it off.
Mojave slaps this band-aid on your face, and it, he accidentally smacks one of your welts, just hurts for a little bit, and it's like, shit.
Pat on the back. You'll be fine.
Does it heal anything?
No.
No? Okay.
You got a band-aid on your forehead now.
I mumbled to myself that if I was back home, the doctor would come to me.
Oh, once we're back at a place that's not here, I'll give you a proper one. So you're fine. You're not dying.
Yeah. You're right. I'm not dying. I should be happy that the good guys won again.
Uh-huh. We all live.
Yeah.
I think once we get outside, right? Like she just silently follows along with you guys. As soon as a trash can is apparent, she immediately turns to it and just vomits into the trash can.
That is entirely valid.
I am unsure if you had eaten anything that day, but
I did, because Jason made breakfast.
right. It's been late. It's pretty late, so the remnants of that breakfast aren't really there much anymore. But there is
Just bile.
bile
mucus.
and a little bit of a blood that is a bit brown, and you're pretty sure isn't yours. Kind of gross, but all right.
Just vomits into the trash can.
Pat offers water bottle when she's done.
Does take it, drinks.
Do you think in my vehicle I would have like plastic sheeting, and if not, could I buy some on the way back to the car?
Plastic sheeting? Can you be more specific of what you mean by that?
Like, sometimes if you ever need to haul something or cover furniture, you just get like plastic sheets.
Tarp.
Yeah, like a plastic tarp, yeah.
Something to make sure all the blood doesn't get in your upholstery?
Yeah, even something lighter like that I can throw over the seats.
You know what? I actually will give that. Yeah, you might have a tarp.
I think we probably would have picked up something like that on our way when we knew we were hitting the sewers and gonna be climbing around in sludge all night.
I would also give that. You know what?
So when we get back to the car, Jason's busting out the tarp for the back and then like plastic wrapping the seats so no one messes up his upholstery.
We're gonna say you did that before getting in the car going to Frenzy's.
Okay, yeah.
If you want to keep your car clean.
Yes.
You even give everybody another Febreze spray down before we get in the car. I stole the stuff, I might as well use it.
Oh shit, there it is. Are you all headed home?
Yep.
I'm headed wherever this car is going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not safe to go back to our place. We are crashing at Scales. Is that right? Or are we gonna try to head back home?
I would prefer to sleep in man bed.
I believe the consensus was that with the phone being destroyed, they would not have an ability to check where you are anymore.
Okay. Oh, hopefully by now the coast is clear. Let's go back home. Start
yes.
Driving a fast 40 miles an hour back to our nice apartment.
You make your way down the I-10, through downtown to the edge of Hollywood, very edge. Make your way up to the Orchid Towers, to your room, and now everyone, you are now upstairs. It is evening. You may choose what you will do this evening before you go to bed.
I'd like to give everybody another medical once-over. Just, make sure we're not infected with anything, and maybe see if I can't give Jason more than a Band-Aid.
I think that Morningstar will like bat your hand away if you try to, not hard or anything, but just kind of like when you try to check her. She's gonna go upstairs to where where her room is. She's gonna go in there.
I'll at least hand her another water bottle.
Her tail grabs it, even though her body is moving.
I will give that with the spending your time. I'm not going to make you roll for first aid. No one appears infected by anything. No one shows signs of infection. Oh,
Perfect.
Yeah.
He's going to spend a lot of his evening deep cleaning his arms one at a time.
fair.
Yeah, Jason is gonna do pretty much the same thing. He's immediately going to like go to a laundry room, strip out of everything, and just throw it in the washing machine, wash it, and then go to the bathroom and like take a bath. With like the bath salts and everything. He's gonna take a nice, hot,
Spa
relaxing spa.
Bottle
day.
of wine, some tea light candles, a nice CD.
A little spider drone brings in an hors d'oeuvre.
Another one holding towels.
For sure.
Yeah, Mojave's just
think,
washing his clothes in the sink.
Yeah, I think like Morningstar will very purposefully wait till either everyone is asleep or she knows they won't come out of their respective areas. And you know, I think she also goes to the laundry room, and she doesn't necessarily know how like Jay's laundry situation works, but she's gonna figure it out, right? And so she like strips down out of everything, and so she's just like naked snake lady right now. And she's got like the clothes set to one side, is looking at these things, and I mean, I imagine just eventually she figures it out how it works. And will like when it's done transfer over Jason's clothes into the dryer, and then we'll put her own and start doing the process of cleaning her own clothes.
Yeah, Mojave ain't even gonna try to figure out the washing machine. He is washing his stuff in the sink.
It might
Yeah,
even be
yeah.
like a smart washer that just does it for you.
Oh, amazing. So yes, but she'll, understand what that process is, and then, do the damn thing. And so she'll just be sort of bare. And if anyone or any drone was walking around and peeked at her, they would just see like, the litany of scars and stuff that she has all over her body. And I imagine that there are parts of her that are chrome. Or at least like made sterner by chrome. So like in my mind, I imagine she has this like thin, this very thin piece of metal that runs along where her spine is. And you would see like little thin things that kind of come out from it and are like embedded into her skin. And I think she's like looking at herself, looking at all those scars and whatnot, and having this moment of like thinking on her life. But especially Richter, this idea of him being with her mom. She still has the badge. And so she's taken out the ultrasound and the picture of essentially her parents. And just thinking about how both of them abandoned her and her siblings at this lab. Yeah.
So, as everyone settles in for this evening, with the weight of today on their minds, of the body horror they were forced to witness below the streets of LA, we are going to call it here for today, for this week.
Hey.
I hope everyone had a lot of enjoyment. I hope you enjoyed playing, enjoyed watching. Hope everyone just had a good old time. No, I did.
Yeah.
I do realize I did not do something, and that was to play the teaser for Oxford's Ashes, which is going to be hopefully starting this Friday. Shiv's alive, yes?
Hey! Yes, I believe so.
Oh, yes, so it should be starting this Friday. Given Shiv's life, love him dearly. Please let him survive. Which I believe, yes, everyone in this cast is in it. So
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
see,
It's gonna be fun.
let's see, we are going to do our stuff in order of most likely to actively strip down naked in front of their washing machine and do their laundry there. So least to most. I have to go last anyway, even though I think I'd be least. Maybe. So we're gonna go with Mojave. Who are you and why do you exist?
Why do I exist? Why does anything exist? Softy, I'm having a crisis now.
Good.
Hi, I'm Daybreakathon. I may or may not exist, I'm not sure. You can find me in a state of Schroeder Flux existence over Daybreakathon Twitch. I've been streaming a lot of 7 Days to Die lately. That's been a dang good time. Also, I did the character art for the characters. That's my art. Commission me. And I've written a couple of fantasy novels. Check those out. It's a good time. Aside from that, my dog says hi.
Hello, puppers.
Oh, so this is actually a hard decision. We're gonna go with Jason. Who are you and why do you exist?
I've actually done that a lot.
You same.
Yeah. I'm Noskavian. I just play TTRPGs. You can see me on Table of Horrors. I play Jason on Mondays, and soon to be, I think I'm going with Barry on Table of Horrors on Fridays.
And then T103. Who are you and why do you exist?
I don't know.
Oh,
You can't just ask them hard questions, Softy.
I'm so sorry. It's all my fault.
I'm Slip, or Vamp Daddy, if you go by the Twitch handle. I stream variety here on Twitch because I don't have the attention span to not be a variety streamer. Right now, been doing a lot of 7 Days with Day. I'm basically their dealer.
Look at my Fixio. It's good times.
That's been wild. I'm here on Mondays for Shadowrun, and I'll be here on Fridays as a guy.
As a guy.
Named Slip.
Yes, the return.
More Slip.
The fucking
the
return.
Of Slip.
All love Slip.
Yes.
Oh,
Heart hands to Slip.
all the love to Slip. Morningstar, who are you and why do you exist?
Hi, everybody. I think that's a question best answered on another day. Hi, I'm Chastity. You can find me all over the internet as the Risa Rave. I do all kinds of things, but especially TTRPGs. You can find me here on Table of Horrors, where obviously on Mondays I play Morningstar. And, well, on Fridays you'll get to see Akaran. A lovely lady that I think you all are really going to enjoy. But I'm also on Lanyap Gaming, where we do all kinds of TTRPGs. Currently, we are doing a VTM V5 game called Shadows over Salem, which you guys can see live on YouTube on Tuesdays. We also do a family brunch on Sundays, which is like a behind-the-scenes discussion with cast and, all that type of stuff. Oh, and I do spicy stuff, and you can find those on my link in the link tree. So check that out if you're interested. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
All right. And then last and most certainly least of all of my lovely friends,
They're lying.
uh,
They're lying.
I will slap you with the good
I-
vibes fish.
I have been and will be always your Cosmic GM, Softonomicon. I am Softonomicon on all social medias. I also go by Softy and Allfather Softy. I was on vacation, but I am now back. And on Thursday, I will probably start on my channel again of proper streaming. I'm obviously the GM here on Monday and Table of Horrors, and on Fridays now as a character known as Ebony on Oxford's Ashes. And I cannot
And
wait.
Hatfield will also be there.
Yes,
I
Hatfield
forgot
will
to
also be
mention.
there. Yes,
I
Day
play
will be playing
Hatfield. I will
Hatfield.
play Hatfield. Sorry for interrupting you.
It's okay. At this point, I'm coughing my lungs up. I cannot wait for everyone to have a good old time and all of us to chill and be just having a good time. As I've lost the ability to, sadly, we'll not be doing a raid today, but I'm going to end this with the thing I was supposed to play earlier. So stick around for just a minute, see the cool teaser that Shiv did, because he's really fucking talented. And give me a moment.